Hi guys, this is Miss Dixon. If you don't yet recognize my voice, I am going to show you today how to calculate an average atomic mass. So we are looking at page 39 in your orange book. If you don't have your orange book yet, you should email your teacher in IC, whoever that chemistry teacher is, and they can make sure you get one. In the case that you don't have one, just do this on a scrap sheet of paper, totally fine. Maybe in your notebook where you keep your chemistry stuff. Okay, so we're looking at this problem. It says that rubidium has two common isotopes, rubidium 85 and rubidium 87, and that the abundance of rubidium 85 is 72.2%, the abundance of rubidium 87 is 27.8%, and then you're asked to find what the average atomic mass is. Okay, so from our conceptual stuff that we did yesterday, we can see that most of our sample is this rubidium 85. So we know when we calculate our average, it's going to be closer to 85 than it will be to 87. So that's just something to keep in the back of our minds as we're doing this calculation. If we get a number that's really close to 87, we probably did something wrong and should go back and fix it. Okay, so here's the logistics. Here's how you actually do this with the numbers. In order to calculate this, we need two numbers. We need this number, that's the mass, and then we need this number. This is the percentage, okay? We are going to multiply those two numbers together. Yep, that's it. Super simple. We're just using multiplication, and then there's going to be a little addition at the end. Here is where this gets tricky. When you multiply a percentage, you first have to change it into a decimal. Okay, it's been that way since you started using percentages in middle school. This is a math thing, okay? When we use our percentages, we are going to write our average atomic, or our atomic mass, so in this case 85, but we are going to multiply it by the decimal form of this percent. So in that case, it is times 0.722. Right? So I move this decimal over two places to get this into a decimal instead of a percentage. Okay? Remember, percentages are out of 100. They're kind of like fractions. When you divide fractions, you get a decimal. Hopefully this is ringing some bells. If you're totally lost on this whole percentage thing, you don't remember doing this in math, feel like you've never seen a percentage before, this is probably a question for office hours. Feel free to come to any of the office hours with any of the teachers. It's pretty important that you are able to change a percent into a decimal. So if that's something that you're shaky on, make sure you get it taken care of right away. Okay, so we've changed it into a decimal. We have 85 times 0.722. Then our other one over here, we have 87, our second mass, our second isotope here, and that is 27.8% abundant. So we're going to take 87 times, again, we need to get this into a decimal, so instead of 27.8, we're going to move the decimal twice. It's going to be 0.278. Okay? So here's that last step then. Once we've multiplied both of these, we're just going to add them together. Okay? Again, thinking back to middle school math, we've got to do our order of operations, so we multiply before we add. So we're going to multiply these two numbers. So this is going to be 61.37. And then this one over here we're going to multiply. So this is going to be 24.186. We're going to bring down our addition sign. Now we get to add them together. So 61.37 plus 24.186, we get 85.56 AMU. So if we think back to where we started, we said our average atomic mass should be closer to 85 than to 87. 85.56 is closer to 85 than to 87, so it looks like I've done this problem correctly. One note, be careful with the calculator that you are using. Make sure that it is following order of operations. Sometimes, if you're going to put this whole thing in, You're going to have to make sure that you put parentheses around everything here. Other times the calculator will follow order of operations for you naturally. It just kind of depends on which calculator you're using. So if you calculate this, you have it set up this way and you get a different answer, probably it's a parentheses issue. If you can't figure it out, again, that would be another great question for office hours. We should be able to help you figure out what your calculator is doing. Okay, that's it for today. You've got a couple of practice problems and then a check to see if you're getting it. And then tomorrow is the understanding check.